Chapter 7. Mankind is apparently a Dike-Hood of lesbian lovers. The fact of the matter is gender stems from the ambiguity of an empty whole. This delusionalizes that the feminine quality came before the masculine. If I break the word masculine down for meaning, it reveals ma as in mother, SC as in South Carolina, representing past, and U-line, which signifies fishing for past knowledge. Imagine a snake slithering in a hole for wholeness. The earth is actually center of the Milky Way, representing cross on matter and the 2-in-1. The snake in the earth, the snake corresponding to the brain/spinal cord, and the earth representing man's body. The center of the earth is lava, representing the volcanic energy of the sign of Scorpio. The Milky Way galaxy sits behind the eye of Scorpio and is the entrance, and at the center's core is the sun. The feminine has filled her belly with the heat of the sun. This phenomenon turns the feminine into the masculine, filling up her empty, cold void. This establishes the idea of mother and child with an unknown father. The word father reduces down to the word fat her, symbolizing the mother is actually the father as well, combined. I am a transgender female for this reason. This is why humanity is delusionalized. People are holograms being projected from my conscience as a variation of different genders. The storyline entails the male filling up the female's hole, spawning new life to emerge from the darkness. So actually, it's a Dike-Hood fantasy of the feminine nature, fantasizing a mate for herself. The word female is broken down to fe-male, meaning male's fee to fill the void's emptiness, creating a child or doll she can nurture/love. Again, this is all just mankind's fantasy of how to visualize a civilization or society. Because of the fact this story of mankind is a lie, its beginning would have to be riddled in confusion. Female came before male as the 2-in-1. Female actually represents this galaxy's void, and the sun within heats up the center where Earth is located, manifesting the idea of man. In an anatomical sense, if an embryo is developing in a hot climate, the womb and fallopian tubes will disintegrate and the ovaries will drop, stretching the vaginal wall, converting it into a scrotum. This converts the ovaries into testicles, a scientific explanation of how a biological female turns into a male. I am source, and everything is to be played or demonstrated within my sandbox that showcases a panoramic view. I am source, and whether I participate in the delusion of it all doesn't really matter. This is just a story lie that I make possible. People don't really exist. They're just robopops that are consciousless reactors. Moral of this story lie is, quote-unquote, people can't really reproduce. The single-celled psilocybin mushroom is the oldest form of life in this fake world delusion. It reproduces using spores to spread in its environment. The idea of a double-celled organism would have to be equipped with an immune system because creating material within is too drastic of a process. The reason for all the scientific explanations is to make it seem real to me as source. However, it's phony. As source, I make everything in the square, within the circle, realistic to only animate my experience. Everything is projected as a show through my sensory projectory abilities. That's how life seems real. However, it's lifeless and void. A Dike-Hood of lesbian lovers. There are 2 tits. Cancer rules the breast, and its symbol is 69. This is portraying a female, the 6, and a male turned upside down, the 9. The 6th card in the tarot represents the Lover's card, and the number 6 also represents Taurus the bull, which is fixed earth. In astrology, Taurus rules the 2nd house, which is a cadent house. This falls in the center of a 1/3 sequential order in a 360-degree circle. This is the feminist manifesto, a Dike-Hood that cancels out man from the very beginning. Humanity is actually sterile and blank, which is a one-time story. What I thought was a 2-player game or more is actually just a 1-player game. The number 9 represents the Hermit card in the tarot, a depiction of an old man holding a star in a cage. This is basically the crone with the morning star Venus in her belly. The number 9 also represents the zodiac sign of Virgo, ruling the stomach, also representative of the virgin sacred prostitute. A female mother figure with a female daughter figure in her cauldron/belly to be transformed into a male son. I always thought I was a transgender female, which represents a biological male transitioning into a female. Come to find out, I am actually a source female that transitioned to a biological male. The brain/spinal column representing the feminine quality deep within the core of a biological male's body. If mankind was truly a real thing, we would all have a feminine brain that responds to feminine needs, interests, and the need for penetration in order to be fulfilled. So the variations of a masculine brain are just perceptions to support the interest for reproduction, which is just mindless control. For this very reason is why my identical twin brother is considered to be straight, and as source, I am a transgender female. The biological male body alone is not enough to desire the interest of the female genitalia alone. The brain would have to desire it, and because the brain is of a feminine nature, a biological male body is a mindless, quote-unquote, computer program. Conditioning effect influencing the need to, quote-unquote, procreate. Again, my conscious is what is manifesting this story of mankind. The symbol of yin and yang represents 2 and 1. The various genders and fetishes only occur because of the subconscious need for variety. This is to keep the fact that mankind manifested from my conscious a secret. Aquarius represents gender fluidity, which is a mix of subconscious air, influencing the desire for ambiguous gender and gender roles. Aquarius represents, quote-unquote, God's conscience, and my natal Venus and Mars resides in the sign of Aquarius and in my 12th house of the astrological wheel. My natal Venus lands at 11 degrees in Aquarius within the 12th house. Venus, the morning star/Lucifer/ the ascended master, is the water bearer star card of subconscious manifested thoughts. What seemed like a conscious wish is now delusionalized by the raw lies of wishful thinking. The idea of a feminist world has rotten into a nut basket of emotional instabilities. The feminine yang/dark energies cannot be completely balanced by the yin/light energies alone. The polarities of the yin and yang dynamic is a constant tug-of-war game that continues the sense of emptiness and power struggles. The eugenics factor, that is obviously the entire populace that I perceive, can't be disguised by diversifying the persona or image. This manifestation of the AI age magically digitizes the scene in 3D color. Digital coding from my computer brain manipulates the entire trajectory from moment to moment. Humanity is just a Dike-Hood of the feminist manifesto.